everyone, I'm Jeff Holtz, and welcome to another edition of Inside Milford ALai. Action, excitement, and enjoying a night out is what ALai is all about. And it doesn't hurt if you win a few dollars either. On Friday night, August 24th, Milford ALai gives away $10,000 in cash prizes. Milford ALai President and CEO, Lenny Myers.
Hi again, Milford ALai sports fans. Well, you've got us to do it again. This Friday night, August 20th, we're going to give you another $10,000 in cash. The same as last giveaway. This time it's $1,000 after the first, third, fifth, 7th, and 11th games, and then a big $5,000 after our 13th game. Our fans tell us they love it, and if our fans love it, we're going to keep doing it. So remember, come on out here August 24th, next Friday, for the big $10,000 giveaway. We're looking forward to seeing you.
My favorite player is Tomas, because it seems to me he really tries. He hustles for every point, and you can see he gets annoyed when he makes a miss. So I like the ALai player.
Bo. Well, he's big and strong. I mean, I don't know too much about ALai, but I just enjoy the game. It's very exciting.
No doubt about it, Tomas. He's aggressive, he's fast, he's quick, and he wants to win.
And he just won us money. I like Bo. He's big and he picks up the whole court.
Well, I like Bolivar's proven winner, and also Clan. They come through.
Foldy, he's tenacious. Just never gives up. He's always there. Never say die kind of guy. Gutsy.
I agree.
Another edition of Talking ALai, and I'm here with Bob Hustler of Milford ALai. And Bob, last week we talked about the in-clan injury. He's now been out for over a week, and that's really sort of shifted the balance of power throughout a program when you come into Milford ALai right now, from the middle games, the late games, the early games. How has that happened?
Well, what's happening, Jeff, is that the absence of in-clan has allowed a number of players to get back in the wins race. In-clan was injured on August the 8th, and for those that don't know what happened to him, he went up the screen on a shot, came down the wrong way, twisted the knee in the process. The knee, while not suffering any serious damage, did swell up on him. Now, at first we thought he might be out a week to 10 days. Now it appears as if he'll be out longer. When in-clan went down, he was the leading winner in the building, and he was threatening to turn the wins race into a runaway. On the day he went down, he led Sorzabal by 8 games, and he led Bolivar by 12 games. Now it's a brand new race. Now Sorzabal is back in the race. He's tied with him. In-clan and Sorzabal now stand tied, and Bolivar now stands only 3 wins off the pace. And you also have some players coming up from behind who really, before the injury of in-clan, had no chance to get in the race at all.
Who are some of the players that you think are going to get the most advantages from in-clan being out of the lineups right now?
Well, I'd have to say that Bolivar would be the first player you'd point to because of their particular rivalry. Bolivar and in-clan, while not really admitting to it, probably have as intense a rivalry as exists in the building right now. And without in-clan in the lineup, Bolivar certainly gets an advantage because they always drew 2 toughest pokes. If Bolivar was in the 7 hole, in-clan would be in the 6 or the 5, and vice versa. And so they just don't face each other as much. So you'd think Bolivar would certainly gain an advantage out of in-clan's injury. The other player who might gain an advantage in the singles game, the feature singles game here, is Elorza. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but Elorza has been playing much better in the singles game since in-clan went down.
We've looked at the top 5, and you see that Don has moved into that category. How has his play improved over the past few weeks, and what's happening to him now as he goes from predominantly the middle games into the later games?
Well, Don is one of those players who, before the season began, you wouldn't point to say, here's a guy who might be able to do some damage in the race. But he is turning into one of the pleasant surprises of the season. Don, over the last couple of weeks, has, as you said, the move from the middle games into the late games, and he's done this by virtue of a winning streak, which now has him among the top 5 players in the Fronton. And it's a matter of adjustment. he is used to playing at a certain level of competition, namely the middle games. Now he has to play in the middle games and occasionally gets that promotion into the late games, and that can actually be a little tough on a player than, say, just playing exclusively in the late games, and that's it. Because, say, early in the program, because against middle game players, he's at a level of competition, you know, right here, figuratively speaking, and all of a sudden he jumps right up against the better players in the late games, and it makes it tough for an adjustment. But I talked to him a little earlier, and he says he fully intends to stay among the top 5 players this season.
Thanks, Bob. We'll be back next week with another edition of Talking Headline. Here are this week's primetime figures. Sortizabal won 9 games this week to move into the lead, while Bolivar took 8, putting him into a tie for second with Inclan, who was on the sidelines with a leg injury. Sortizabal continues to show he's an excellent team player. He's won 12 games with Alfonso and 10 with Roland. The top quinellas for the week were the 1-5, the 1-6, the 2-3, and the 2-4. The top exacta combinations are the 5-1, the 8-5, and the 5-2. The leading trifecta this season is the 5-2-4. It was a week of big prices. Top paying trifecta was a 7-8-5 that returned $5,997.30. The biggest big three was a 5-1-1 that paid $2,563.20. The Saturday matinee's 8th game gave us the biggest exacta and quinella of the week and the season. The 7-8 exacta paid $1,988.40. That staggering price was larger than the trifecta. The 7-8 quinella returned $210.30. The player's manager fills a vital role at the fronton. He evaluates the players, determines the pairings, and assigns the post positions. He's the man behind the players. You've met Milford High-Li's players manager many times on this program. He is, of course, Jose Gerby, who played professional High-Li for 31 years, and he's highly respected.
Okay, my function is, first of all, to put together the teams in each game they are going to perform. We have 14 games on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday matinee, and 15 games on Saturday night and Sunday matinee. Then I made the croquis with the players that I believe they fit in the categories that they are going to play: early game, middle game, and late game. I usually put 4 games for each player and each performance that they play for 14 games, and 5 games sometimes to the late game players when the program is a 15-game program. Then some because the injuries, they can play more games, because in one program with one player it's a scratch for injury. The substitutes are the ones they have to move ahead and play those games, and those are extra games that they are playing in those circumstances.
The player manager evaluates the players and determines at what level on the roster they can compete. Players aren't always happy with Jose's evaluation.
And let me tell you one thing, that not every time goes with my evaluation with the way the players thinks. Most of the times the players, they think that they are better than what the player manager put them in the games or whatever. But that's the way it is, and I do my best looking everybody and trying to put everybody in its place.
The player manager uses the post positions to equalize the game. He does this by placing players with lesser ability in the early posts while putting the better players in posts 5, 6, and 7. Some people feel it would be better to randomly select the post positions, but Jose disagrees.
If I have to go that in my job, I'm supposed to try to even all 8 teams in each game. If we are going on the random, let's say Bolivar or England playing the best team and number 1, how about with the rest? They have the same chance to be a winners? No way, no? Then the random, I don't think. The only way I can think to try the random with every player is if I have a roster that more or less everybody are in the same level. Then you can random them, the same numbers or partners, and in the end, the best players will have a better record.
When ALai fans talk about the game's great players, one name that is often mentioned is Elorza. He's a 32-year-old backcourtman who grew up playing ALai in Marquina, Spain. He began playing professionally in 1977 when the Milford Fronton first opened, and he is the only original member left from that roster. He has a distinctive overhand throwing style that is truly artistic.
Well, to me, it came pretty easy, you have to understand that I started, playing this game while I was 7, 8 years old, So, I did a lot of hours in the court, Since when I was small, I used to practice a lot because I loved the game. So to me, everything came just natural, I guess, just by practicing and watching, watching professionals at the time. The people who were in their peak were these Larañaga, Churruca, Chimela, and on the front there were Agurbi, Ondares, and all those guys. I learned. I was lucky to be able to go to ALai and see them play.
Elorza is a player who likes to get into a rhythm, but the American system of play, in which the games tend to be short, does not lend itself to his style.
Maybe, if I have to say something, will be that he's a player, like I said before, always he starts very slowly and it's going up. Maybe in the day-by-day performance is the same thing. He needs time to warm up. And I don't know if the Quinella is the best game for him to play. I believe that in partidos he is much better player than in Quinellas. For that reason that he has 35 points and his body, to put it that way, it's in better shape, or his mind too, to go into 35 points. Here, if he makes one mistake, with the partners he's going, and the numbers usually, even right now, he's not that sharp, he doesn't have a chance. And then he's most of the times in the bench, and he have no time to warm up properly.
They're very different. I like playing both, I couldn't really say that, I like one better than other. I mean, they're very different, but that's okay, that's the same thing, You have to do the same thing. One is short and the other one is long, It's completely different, but see, the partido games is more, like a marathon, you get to study your partner, you have more time to change the tactics during the game, because the game is so long, goes to 35 single points. So if you start not doing too good, you might think maybe it's the balls what you have to change. Maybe, you get to change your plans. In Quiniela game, the difference is that, you made a mistake, you out. give you time to make that, to adjust your game. That's the difference.
Elorza, who suffered a minor back injury in 1984, hopes to play for many years to come.
Right now, I feel like I'm in my peak, you know, because I think I'm physically on top, you know, I'm my best, you know, I have some experience, and, you know, how long that will last is impossible to say.
Elorza is one of the best singles players in the sport. He is currently tied with Bolivar with 15 victories in the featured singles competition. And now it's time for the game of the week. This 12th game feature, which is played every Friday night, boasts the Fronton's hottest players. The top 8 backcourtmen and the top 8 frontcourtmen are randomly paired together. The post positions are also randomly selected. After 11 games, the top performers in this game have been Roger and Sortizabal in the front court, Roland, Androneghi, and Alfonso in the backcourt. Here are the closing odds. Mark and Don have been playing well lately, and as a result, the fans have sent them off as the 2-1 favorite. Sortizabal and Camilo in post 8 are the second choice at 4-1. There is spectacular 7 scoring in this featured game. In the first round, the points are worth 1. When everyone has had a turn, the points are then worth 2. The team that scores 7 points first wins. It should be noted right off the bat that Milford superstars Inclán and Bolivar are not in this game. Bolivar did not qualify, and Inclán has been out over a week with a knee injury. The game starts off with Mike and Pedroso in post 1, taking on Mark and Don in the 2. Mark looks for the chula from his left side. The rebote is dug out by Pedroso. Mark tries it once again, but again his touch is off. The rebote by Pedroso can't make the front wall, score the point for the 2. We move to later action in the first round. James and Androneghi in post 4, taking on Bucci and Tomas in post 5. Here Androneghi makes this catch in the backcourt, tries to use his power, but throws it too high out of bounds. The 5 takes the point. The 5 then takes on the 6, early gamer Giovanni with Pelosa in the backcourt. Bucci tries the carom serve. It's good for another point for the 5. 5 then takes on the 7, Greg and Jay, who are 3 for 18 as a team. Here's a fine pickup by Tomas. He sends one deep. Jay looks for the rebote, but can't get it to the front wall. The 5 takes one more. Completing the first round is post 8, Sortizabal and Camilo taking the court. Here Bucci sends one along the wall into the backcourt. Camilo on the forehand makes the catch. Sends one right back to Bucci, but he can't pull it in. Score 1 point for the 8. That completes the first round of play. Starting the second time around, the 8 takes on post 1, Mike and Pedroso. The points now count 2. Sortizabal starts off the serve, sending it to Pedroso in the backcourt. The 8 team has a chance to do some damage from this post. Sortizabal is an excellent offensive player. 3 double points could give them the game. Here Sortizabal makes a fine rebote, and it's pulled in by Mike in the forehand. He sends one into the backcourt. Camilo lets it go. Sortizabal there again for another rebote. This lob off the front wall is drawn in by Pedroso, who sends one deep. Camilo lets it go again. One more rebote for Sortizabal. He sends one to Pedroso, who can't hold on. The 8 has a couple more. Next up is post 2, the favorites Mark and Don. They scored 1 point the first time up and are looking to take advantage of the second round of play. One into the backcourt, Sortizabal on the rebote, and Don will pull it in on his left side. This point is a perfect example of how the 2 is trying to take advantage of the weaker link in post 8, early gamer Camilo in the backcourt. But Mark and Don haven't been able to get the pelota quite where they want it, and Sortizabal has picked up the slack for post 8. Here Mark sends one again into the backcourt. Camilo backs away. Sortizabal is there for another rebote. Mark then lets one go to Don in the backcourt, catches it on his left side, sends it deep. Camilo can't make the catch, finally commits the mistake. Post 2 scores 2. Next up is the 3 team of Drew and Tony. Post 2 is starting to show why that 2-hole is so advantageous. They had 1 single point and then a double point. If they take this one, they'll have 5 and possible game point. Mark sends one to Tony in the backcourt, can't make the catch, can't make the rebote. The 2 has a couple more. The points count 2 and the 2 has 5, and now it'll be possible game point for Mark and Don in post 2, with a chance to win the Sports Channel Game of the Week. Trying to stop them, the four, James and Andoneghi. Mark had a great season at Bridgeport, but started off slowly at Milford at the beginning of the season. He recently has come on. Don has been a steady player all season long, starting off in the middle games and recently moving into the late games where he's done an excellent job. Here he sends one off the back wall. James is there for the rebote. Mark will be there in the front court to pull in the catch on his forehand. He sends one into the backcourt, and again, the rebote save is made by James. Mark pulls one in on the forehand, uses the cortada. Good for point and game for post two. Mark and Don each with their first win in the Sports Channel Game of the Week.
We had a lucky draw. We got matched against some of the weaker teams in the game, some of the earlier game teams, and we just took advantage of our post position and made the best of it. But sometimes it's harder when you're out there knowing that the points are fairly easy if you don't make the mistake. The little things you tend to get overly cautious, and that's when you don't play your game. But fortunately we did, and I think we're both pretty happy about it. It was a cortada shot. I had the ball up at around the 4 line, and I threw it because I knew the inside would be open, and it was a little bit close to the tin for my liking, but but we'll take it.
That concludes Inside Milford Highlight. Don't forget, this Friday night, August 24th, Milford Highlight gives away $10,000 in cash prizes. 5 lucky fans will take home $1,000, while someone will win the $5,000 grand prize. Remember, you must be present to win. For Inside Milford Highlight, I'm Jeff Holt.